Global Broadcasting Networks presents Military Mom Talk Radio. We know behind every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine is the family supporting them. With over 200 episodes in 17 countries, over 5 seasons, with 3 million monthly listeners, we are radio strong. Now here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and we have a wonderful show today. We'll be visiting with K-12 military liaison Christine Nichols and K-12 head of school Cheryl Tatum. Now, I'd like to thank K12.com for making today's show possible and welcome my wonderful co-host Linda Crater of Military Network Radio, who's co-hosting with me today, because together we are better at bringing vital, important, and great information to serve the military family. So, ladies, welcome to the show. Christine, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as the school's military liaison?
I have been working for K-12 for a little over 4 years in this role as a military base site coordinator or military liaison, and I serve all of our military students in a face-to-face environment to give them opportunities to get to know each other and get academic support as well as social opportunities.
Thanks, Christine. So can you tell me a little bit about the unique challenges service members face with regard to educating their children? Because both Linda and I know a little bit about this topic, but we really want to hear your expert information.
Greetings and welcome to Military Network Radio. I'm Linda Crater, and we have a terrific show for you today about the great synergy of collaboration and engagement within the military community. I'm joined today by special guest co-host Sandra Beck, host of our sister show, Military Mom Talk Radio. Today's show is sponsored by K12.com, the leader in online K-12 education, especially suited to mobile military families. Connection within the military community is so important, and having key people who understand the unique challenges of military children and excellent education offers great opportunity. We'll be talking today with Christine Nichols, military liaison with Tinker Air Force, and Cheryl Tatum, head of school for OVCA, the Oklahoma Virtual Charter Academy, where the first enrichment program for military families was established within K-12 and has now been so successful it was expanded to additional co-ops. A warm welcome to my friend and special co-host Sandra Beck and our guests Christine Nichols and Cheryl Tatum. Welcome to Military Network Radio. Sandra, let's talk with these interesting guests and learn more.
I'm going to go to Christine first. And Christine, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as the school's military liaison?
Sure. I have been working for K-12 for a little over 4 years in this role as a military base site coordinator or military liaison, and I serve all of our military students in a face-to-face environment to give them opportunities to get to know each other and get academic support as well as social opportunities.
Thanks, Christine. So can you tell me a little bit about the unique challenges service members face with regard to educating their children? Because both Linda and I know a little bit about this topic, but we really want to hear your expert information.
Sure, thank you. The challenges that we have found that the students face and that the families face in educating their students is the lack of consistency in the home. I mean, you've got service members that are in and out through deployments, through trainings and absences from the family, and then the students, how that affects them does relate in their schoolwork. And sometimes you find that a lot of people don't understand the challenges that the military students are facing at home.
You know, Christine, I'm so fascinated by the fact that at Oklahoma Virtual Charter Academy, this liaison position that you're in offers an enrichment program for the children and gives engagement between the community and with K-12 as well as the parents who are gaining from your expertise. Talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. With our program, we do allow for all of those things that you mentioned, and it just really gives the students an opportunity to come in and to be able to engage in their community with other students that completely understand where they are and get them for who they are. So you also have the ability to make friends with people who understand who they are. And then K-12 allows the teachers to actually come directly to us at Tinker Air Force Base and provide in-person, face-to-face support for these students that are enrolled.
That's what's so fascinating to me, is that this is an online virtual charter academy, and yet you've added this in-person aspect, which allows for tutoring and support and socialization, and it works seamlessly with the community. How has it been received?
It's been fantastic, because the part off of that is also the family support, because even the parents and the family members of these students are able to get support from these live teachers as well. And so this has become a favorite.
I love the live
students.
Teachers. That's a good thing.
Right, as opposed to dead teachers.
Well, live in person.
In
yeah,
person.
I could see opposed to that.
Right.
So yeah, they're able to. The students look forward to our classes and our time together so much that they're like, hey, when are you meeting again? And if I say we can't meet, they're just like, oh man, well, can we just do it and add an extra day in case? Because it really does give them a place to just let them be themselves. And we are able to work with the youth center on base so well. They allow us to use their space, that they enjoy being there to use that too.
Well, that's something that I want to talk a little bit more in depth about, because Linda brought up a great point, with this socialization. That's one of the chief criticisms that I hear about online education and, homeschooling, or any combination of those two, is that the kids really don't get a chance to socialize. They don't socialize well. They graduate with poor social skills, blah, blah, blah. Those are the chief criticisms, but you found a way around this. So what does the socialization look like? How does that work? Do you guys get together and what do you do?
We do. We meet a couple of times a week, every week throughout the school year. And I take that socialization part very seriously, because our students are at home. And so most of our projects are very open-ended STEM projects that we do together to allow them to have to talk to each other and to problem solve together. And you'll find that the older students start helping the younger students, and they'll even help each other. One of them gave us a spelling test to another student in order to work together. So they do have many opportunities to build those relationships.
Well, and to interact. And STEM, for those of you that don't know, is science, technology, engineer, and mathematics. And, that's one of the things when we have these great curriculums and we get heavily into the STEM programs, there's not a lot of opportunity for communication, but you've created something very unique and different so that they can engage, they can interact, they can, start to collaborate and work together, because I think the teamwork aspect and the aspect of teaching kids to work together and to embrace differences and to learn about each other and how to communicate with both male and female kind of people maybe with different backgrounds. That's one of the things that you get in a day-to-day school, but I love how you've worked around that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. They teach me more than I really help them, I think. I'm actually working on even picking up a little bit of Japanese between a family that we worked with last year. I'm like, hey, I think I know what you're talking about. But I do. I learn a lot from them as well.
What I love is that the flexibility that I keep hearing K-12 offers. You're talking about the mentoring of other students. You're talking about the teamwork, the communication between students, and even the focus on these special curriculum activities that may not be offered locally, or you were looking for the consistent, seamless, flexible type of education. Talk about the curriculum and how the support is given, but the opportunity for new classes and things of great interest is also offered and really focused on.
Yeah, no, Cheryl would have a lot of information on that.
Then let's bring Cheryl in. Cheryl, welcome.
Great. Thank you. Yes, the K-12 curriculum does have a variety of courses, and we're continuing to add more every year. And so we do focus on trying to meet the needs of students at the various levels. And so teachers, would support, students that are struggling and need extra attention through these face-to-face things that Christine was mentioning there at Tinker, or even, online in a Skype type environment, an online webinar. But the curriculum is rigorous curriculum. And so it's going to meet, the state standards. It's going to prepare students for what they need to learn to move on next year. And so with military families, even if they transfer to another state, if they have the opportunity to continue with K-12 there, that would be, of course, the best opportunity for them. They wouldn't have to transition, but if that wasn't available where they were moving, they'd be well prepared to move back into a traditional brick and mortar or whatever schooling opportunity they decided. But we are, continuing to try to offer different electives and different career paths for students to really, motivate students and find out what they're engaged in so that they can, pursue their interests.
Well, I'm just going to buzz in here because I'm a single mom of 2 kids who just graduated from elementary school and middle school. And I'll be honest, at about 4th grade, I was done with the math. Like there just wasn't, there wasn't anything in my wheelhouse that would help me with the kids with math. So how do parents do this when the curriculum exceeds, what they can do? Do you have, tutoring programs? Do you, who helps the kids if the parent can't?
Right, absolutely. And that's the teacher's role, right? So we do have, certified teachers for all grades and all subjects. And so just like in the traditional brick and mortar, the teacher would be responsible for that instruction. And we try to meet the needs of the student for what they need. And so students that are able to acquire that math lesson in a shorter period of time don't necessarily have to work on that for the full 60 minutes like you would in the brick and mortar. They're able to move more quickly and finish that lesson. So they might not need as much of that live help or the online help in the webinar type classroom as another student who might need to have that type of experience every single day. So we do have those opportunities where every single day they could come into a webinar classroom and meet with the teacher in order to receive that instruction. They might have additional even tutoring type sessions that could be online. And then in combination with what they do there at Tinker in the face-to-face, so coming together and maybe doing peer tutoring or partnering together to learn from that more abled learning peer, or as Christina mentioned, the teachers also will visit that Tinker site a couple of times a week, and so they can come out and also assist there in person. So there's lots of opportunities to receive that instruction from a teacher.
I love how the opportunities just seem to grow. When you're looking at setting up a co-op at K-12, and in particular, this one, the Oklahoma Virtual Charter Academy, do you take a look at the interests of the children and those types of teachers and courses, or is a whole STEM program added? And if there's a need for something new or fresh, how do you take a look at that, and what do you do next? Cheryl, I guess that's for you.
Yes, because that's just in general across the whole school, right? Not necessarily just at Tinker.
That's correct.
Okay. So we do have a school-wide planning committee, and so we are Title I school, and so we involve parents and teachers, administrators, everyone that we can get feedback from to gather those interests. We survey the students also, and so we'll take that information just like a traditional brick and mortar might do, and from there, we decide if there's additional programs that would be beneficial to our students and create a strategic plan and implement it. So similar type of process that you would do at another school.
Actually, it sounds a lot more involved and more personalized than at most schools that I'm familiar with. I love how you gather the student interest as well as, say, the parents' interest or the needs of the children from a curriculum standpoint. And so as you look at these programs and you evaluate them as you go on, do you often add to them from the user experience? And so this is an evolving, always building program when you have these co-ops?
Yes, so we're always adding additional programs or services to meet those needs. And so it might be, as you mentioned, like with the co-op program there, that was a need that we saw with military families and wanting to provide that opportunity to offer that support. Or within the gifted program, we might add in-person sessions where they do presentations or other STEM type activities, or they participate in competitions. So based on what we learn from those surveys or those needs assessments, then we continue to try to implement different programs to meet the needs of the students.
Well, and that's the thing that I always wondered about, because, if you've got kids who are gifted and they're bored, and, they need more they want to go deeper into a subject, or they want to expand their knowledge base. They're not satisfied with U.S. history. They want to add in, Greek history, or, is there opportunity for gifted kids to really go nuts when they want to?
There are, and as you mentioned, there's different ways that you can enrich a gifted student, right? So you can go deeper, or you could accelerate, or you could add a different subject for them to explore. And so we do have all those opportunities for students. When they get to high school, it's easy on our schedule, since we don't have that bell schedule, to add a 7th course, so a student could graduate earlier if they wanted to. We partner with the career techs and the local colleges and universities so that they could be concurrently enrolled and be working on college credit at the same time that they're attending the high school, or be learning a trade to lead towards certification with the career tech. So those opportunities continue to increase, especially as they get into high school.
Wow, Cheryl, I love hearing that, because whenever you involve students in understanding their interest and listening to them, that's unheard of in more general brick and mortar type schools. And the fact that you just mentioned taking a look at what comes next, so you can graduate early if you have a great interest. You may be college bound, but you may be vocation bound as well, which I think we know from Mike Rowe that there's a huge need for all kinds of crafts and really big places to go and be flexible as they move around the world and where they want to go. Because if you're interested in something, you're going to focus on it. Talk more about what the students would say about these types of choices they're given.
Absolutely. Well, I think that motivation is key, right? And I agree with what you're saying, you're going to be motivated in something you want to learn about. And you're also going to be motivated, I think, from that relationship, right? You're going to learn better from someone you have a relationship with. So we try to do both sides, which again comes back to knowing that student. So you can build that relationship to provide the opportunities that would be interesting to them, but also serve them well for their future. And our students, being a statewide virtual charter school board, a statewide virtual charter school, our students live all across the state. And so depending on the district that you live in, some of those opportunities that you could be afforded in an online school just wouldn't be available to you in your local brick and mortar school. There just wouldn't be the staff or the facilities to offer that. And so it really does open up all the possibilities to every student, regardless of where you live.
Well, and I have some questions, because I'm a kind of looks like, smells like, tastes like kind of girl. And I think a lot of people are curious about this. What does it look like when you sign up? Like, do you have to go out and buy all the books? Do you have to buy a computer? I mean, most people have computers today and internet, but, what do you need in the household, or how does that whole thing work?
Sure. Well, we do have an enrollment team that can help walk you through the process, so you know exactly what to expect every step of the way. But you would sign up by completing application online, and then you would need to submit the required documents that are required by the state: proof of residency, your immunizations, those types of things, because it is a public school. Once you're approved, then we send all of the things that you need, as far as, the books, or in the elementary school, a lot of it's even hands-on. So we might send pattern blocks or a microscope. A lot of the books, as they get to the high school level, are more online. So that you just click right there and they can read them online. The student would need, of course, a computer, which can be provided if that's necessary, and internet is essential, because that's where you would access all of your courses and those online webinars like we discussed.
So I have a couple more questions. How long do kids spend on the computer? Because I know my kids are like junkies. I mean, their tablets, their phones, their things, they're like, heroin for kids. And, I have to pull them off. So the screen time is a concern, I think, for parents. Do they spend a lot of time in front of the computer on top of, their Xbox and, everything else they have today?
It varies by age. And so the younger students don't have as much online time. More of theirs has offline activities, because younger students still need those tactile experience. They're still learning at that really concrete level. So that's why we send, that actual book that you open up and hold and touch, and the pattern blocks that you manipulate and move. And then as they progress, we're progressing through the years for them to become a more independent learner. And then it does transition more to becoming more online, which prepares the students well for, if they do enter college. Most colleges now, you're going to take at least one of your courses online. And so the students come out with that experience of understanding how to navigate a fully online course, how to manage a schedule, and how to be responsible for their own learning.
I'd like to go back to Christine and talk about how Tinker Air Force Base, how has the Garrison accepted all of this wonderful, wrong on Garrison, but how does the base accept the addition of this to their background? Are they enthused by it? Are you really supported? And is it something that they're really enthused about in terms of offering more to our military children?
Yes, definitely. We get a really good response from the base. The youth center actually allows us to use their location. They don't charge us. They don't have a whole lot of restrictions on us. The students are in school during the day, so the youth center is not being utilized. And so they allow us to come in and use their classrooms and their playgrounds and their indoor gym, and just give us that space to meet. And they're very supportive of that. They're always including us in activities. They're always saying, hey, do your kids want to be a part of this? And then we're also able to know what's going on the base so that our kids can get involved, like we talked about earlier with the community involvement. We can find out when there's an activity, and we can make sure that the students are getting the resources that they need, but we can also reach out and assist if there's something that the community of our base needs.
I love that. And talk about how the parents really integrate into this whole group of engaging. So you've got your teachers, you've got the base leadership, you've got Christine, you obviously as the liaison. How do the parents fit into this as well?
So our program does provide for some family support, because they are allowing also the opportunity to see the teachers that their students are working with and ask questions. I've seen them get questions answered from, access questions, or just academic questions themselves on, are they supporting their student the right way, and helping them get a schedule built up in order to make this program work best for their family. But then they also get an opportunity to step away and allow the school to, because they are allowed to leave their students with me in my care, so they get some opportunity to take care of themselves for a little while, or maybe another child, or maybe their spouse. So they're allowed that opportunity to take care of themselves for a little bit too, while their student grows in the program with us.
Do you guys ever go on field trips? I've been to Oklahoma City. I've been to the Science Museum and the zoo and the botanical gardens. Do you guys go to the ballpark, or do you guys have field trips arranged?
We sure do. So the school itself actually does monthly outings, and it gives students the opportunity to meet a lot of our teachers in the school, and there's a few of them that every teacher and every staff member from the school are attending, so they really get to see that we are real people behind the screen. As for the co-op that we run, we do separate outings on top of what the school already provides and offers. So it really gives them a chance to get out and look around and learn about their community around them. One of their favorites is going to the National Weather Center. We get to go out there and work with them. So,
and you learn how to tell the weather, because I'm not sure that they do.
I think when you live in Oklahoma, you kind of all learn how to tell the weather.
Right. We want to see those thunderheads and those tornadoes coming for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are all, homegrown weather people when it comes to Oklahoma. But yes, they do learn a lot out there. They're based out of Norman, and we really learn about how the whole system works, and we get to see all their computers, and they're the ones who actually issue the storm warnings and such, and so we're able to see that hands-on and in person.
That is super. I would love to do that. I've got my one kid loves tornadoes, and he would just totally dig that. I do want to ask about extracurricular or clubs and groups that is that available also to K-12 students?
There are a lot of clubs available. That goes along with our academic that Ms. Tatum was talking about. They have many choices for online clubs, and many of the parents have grouped together and create outings on like a co-op of parents for them as well. But there are multiple. I actually sat in on an online cooking club one time, and the students were talking to each other and exchanging recipes. They have book clubs and language clubs, and we also have a student council. We have all of those things that allow the children to get together and work together. We have prom for our high school students. We hold graduations. So there's plenty of opportunity for those extracurricular activities.
What about music and art? That's kind of like, it seems weird. I mean, I'm a geek, so I can totally think about how to do music and art online. Is that something that's offered as well?
Cheryl, do you want to step in and explain how that process works?
Sure. Yeah. Yes, we do offer music and art, and the students can do, of course, the easy part is doing art history or music history type of things, but they can also, create art that's embedded at the elementary school within their history. So all of the curriculum connects, and they can see those cross correlations as they study art through time and create different art projects. We do at the middle school host a art show every year, and so the students submit work, and we can do that online, and students can come through and appreciate each other's work and understand how to leave appropriate comments and celebrate each other. So students can record music performances to turn those into their music class. So those are offered K through 12.
I want to make sure that our listeners know how to get in touch. If you want more information about the K-12 programs in general, you would go to k12.com, and enrollment is open for the 2017-2018 year. But Cheryl, can you give us the link or where they should go online for the Oklahoma Virtual Charter Academy?
Sure. As you mentioned, you can go to k12.com, and from right there, you can click onto your state to get into Oklahoma. But if you want to go directly to Oklahoma, you can just go to k12.com/OK.
Except just OK, not OVCA. Okay, so k12.com/OK. One quick question. We don't have a lot of time left, but I'm just curious, is there great communication when there is a deployment coming or a PCS or changes for the kids?
It comes with our relationships with the families. We know what's going on because we're able to see them in person every week. And so our families notify me. We can talk about, hey, have you told your student's teacher? And they have the flexibility of being able to be more available for those deployments by schooling at home versus having to take absences to leave the school to see their parent off or to celebrate their homecoming. They have the more flexibility to be available for that.
Well, you can also go to ovca.k12.com. And I have to tell you, you guys have a Geekapalooza, which is the STEAM festival for kids.
Yes.
This is my nerdy little heart over here singing with joy.
I will be working that this weekend. I'm so looking forward to it. I was just looking at all the information about it, and I got excited.
Me too. I'm like, how do I get my kids and me from LA to Oklahoma City? Because they have a geek costume contest. Like, how incredibly fun is that? I don't know. I think I would go as C-3PO. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm getting all excited and I can't even go.
I am just laughing, picturing you in a C-3PO costume. Christine and Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing this information about this really wonderful program, of which there are several across the country. And again, you can go to k12.com to find out more, input your state, and find out your local K-12 academy. And we are really pleased to be able to share this information with our listeners, because seamless, flexible, enriching education to add for our military children is just priceless. And so thank you both for sharing your expertise and just being on with us and talking to our listeners.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about Sandra's costume another time. Wonderful
I know,
job.
We have to look up any school that allows you to wear a geek costume. Like, that's just going to k12.com. That's worth it right there.
Thank you all again. Go take a check out at Oklahoma Virtual Charter Academy and k12.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Military Mom Talk Radio. Want more information? Check us out at militarymomtalkradio.com or find us on iTunes for more than 200 free episodes. Drop us an email or find us on Facebook. We are looking forward to another great discussion. We hope you'll join us on Military Mom